The Legend of Châu and Thủy. After An Zungvung built the citadel of Korlawa, the turtle god Kim Kui gave him one of its claws to serve as the trigger mechanism for a magical crossbow that would defend the fortress. As the turtle god had instructed, the crossbow with a trigger made from the claw would fire thousands of arrows simultaneously and kill thousands of enemy soldiers. An Zungvung entrusted Cao Law, a master crossbow artisan in his retinue, with creating this miraculous weapon. Law worked tirelessly for days to create the crossbow. The crossbow was massive and very stiff, and only powerful archers could cock it. An Zungvung adored the divine crossbow and kept it within reach of his bed at all times. At the time, Giao Tuor, True Da in Vietnamese, ruled the Nam Hai region and repeatedly deployed armies to conquer Âu Lạc territory. However, owing to the divine crossbow, his troops suffered severe losses, forcing him to retreat and wait for a better opportunity. Realizing that open warfare was ineffective, Giao Tuor proposed a peace accord to An Zungvung and dispatched his son, Thủy, to seal the alliance by marriage, but with the concealed goal of sabotaging the holy crossbow. Many months after that, Thủy travelled back and forth under the guise of forging friendly ties, and he met Châu, the beloved daughter of An Zungvung. She was a fair maiden with gracefully arched brows and crystal-clear eyes, her beauty unparalleled. Thủy fell deeply in love with Châu, and she, in turn, was charmed by his attractions. The two became inseparable, and there was no corner of Korlawa citadel that Châu did not lead her lover to see. Seeing their mutual affection, An Zungvung gave his blessing and betrothed Châu to Thủy. One night, beneath a sky full of moonlight and stars, Châu and Thủy sat on a white stone slab in the palace garden, gazing up at the highest ramparts. In their gentle conversation, Thủy asked his bride, "Beloved, what secret does Âu Lạc hold that no enemy can conquer?" Châu answered, "There is no other secret, my love. Âu Lạc has constructed towering fortifications and deep moats, but most importantly, we possess the divine crossbow. A single shot can kill thousands of invaders. Who could stand against that?" Thủy feigned amazement, pretending to hear of the divine crossbow for the first time, and asked to see it. Châu did not hesitate. She dashed to her father's chamber, retrieved the crossbow, and brought it to her husband. She showed the trigger made from turtle god Kim Kwee's claw and explained how to shoot it. Trong Thủy carefully examined the claw and crossbow frame before returning it to his wife for storage. The next day, Trong Thủy obtained An Dung Vung's permission to return home and visit his father. He disclosed the divine crossbow's secret to Jiao Tuo. Jiao Tuo asked one of his crossbow artisans to make a counterfeit trigger that flawlessly imitated the real. Trong Thủy hid the counterfeit claw in his trousers before returning to Âu Lạc. An Dung Vung cared deeply for his daughter. Seeing her always happy in her husband's presence, he ordered a banquet for the three of them to celebrate together. Trong Thủy drank lightly, but An Dung Vung and Châu quickly became heavily intoxicated. Trong Thủy took advantage of his father-in-law's drunkenness and slipped into the royal armory that night. He removed the real claw of turtle god Kim Kwee from the crossbow and replaced it with an ordinary turtle shell replica. Châu saw her spouse appeared restless and anxious the next morning and said, "Husband, is there something troubling you?" Trong Thủy said, "I must leave shortly. My father has summoned me back to the far northern territories." Châu grew silent and her heart felt burdened. Trong Thủy continued, "Now that we must part, who knows when we will meet again? If war breaks out, I may never find you." Châu explained, "I have a coat coated with geese feathers. Wherever I flee, I'll scatter its feathers. You can follow their trail to find me." With that pledge, Châu wept bitterly. Trong Thủy returned to Nam Hai and presented his father with the turtle god claw. Jiao Tuo was thrilled and announced, "With this, Âu Lạc will be ours." Within days, he directed his soldiers to march on Âu Lạc. An Dung Vung, who was confident in his divine crossbow, did not make any defensive preparations upon hearing the invasion. When the enemy arrived at the city gates, he commanded that the weapon be brought forth, only to discover that it had lost its power. Jiao Tuo's soldiers burst through the gates and poured inside. An Dung Vung mounted his horse with Châu clinging to him and fled by the back exit. As they travelled, Mi Châu scattered feathers from her coat along the road. The mountain paths were steep and hazardous. The father and daughter rode without rest for days and nights until they reached Sun near the sea. They tried to dismount and rest, but the enemy closed in. Surrounded by tight, twisting roots and under the evening sky, An Zung Vung begged for turtle god Kim Qui's assistance. Soon after he finished, a storm of sand and dust rose, rattling the hills and woodlands. The turtle god appeared and said, "The enemy is right behind you." An Zung Vung saw Mi Châu strewing her feather trail and realized the truth. In despair, he pulled his sword, killed his daughter, and jumped into the ocean. Jiao Tuor's forces occupied Korlawa citadel, while Trong Tui rode alone to the beach by a feather trail. There, he discovered his bride's body lying in the grass, her beauty unspoiled even in death. Overwhelmed with grief, he gathered her remains and returned them to the citadel for burial before committing suicide by jumping into the well where she used to bathe. Today, Trong Tui's well is located in Korlawa village, just before the temple of An Zung Vung. According to legend, when Mi Chou's blood entered the sea, the mussels consumed it and produced pearls. When cleansed in the water of the Korlawa citadel well, the pearls became brilliant and pristine like crystal.